Tonight, Stacy Walker from Ball State is going to speak to you about our dual enrollment program here at Macon County. We are recording this for the people who were unable to come, so thank you for coming out tonight. I know the weather's kind of nasty and we have games and everything else going on. So she'll go over some information and then we'll have some questions and answers at the end. And if you still have questions later on, feel free to email myself, call me, email or call Ms. Walker. We'll provide that information. I think her information is probably provided in the packet that you've been given. My information is available on the website, including my cell phone number. Please feel free to call or text me if you have any questions regarding your child. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Walker now.
Good evening, everyone. I got to remember to stand right here because I'm on film. I'm hoping I don't get to stuttering and stuff. It's on film and other people can see it, so hopefully that won't happen. But again, my name is Stacy Walker. I'm your dual enrollment liaison from Ball State. So I am everything dual enrollment at Ball State. So if you can't get the answer from Melinda, which is very rare, you can always give me a call or email me and try to get an answer from me. What is dual enrollment? Dual enrollment is an opportunity for high school students, juniors and seniors, to take college courses and get college credit while still enrolled in high school. So you can get high school credit as well as college credit at the same time. Here is unique. Well, each school do it differently. Here, one of the things they have is what we call is a combo packet. And for your seniors, typically you take the English 1010 and a speech class first semester, and English 1020 and a psychology class the second semester. And then the doors are also open for juniors, and typically the juniors here at this school take history classes. Now the difference is what we call the combo classes are face-to-face classes, and the history class will be an online class, okay? But you're not, you don't have to just take history. You could take, there's other opportunities, there's other things that you can take if you don't want to take a history class. But that's just one of the things that's typical to this school is to take history in 11th grade. In order to be eligible for dual enrollment, you have to have a 3.0 GPA, a 18 in English, a 19 in reading, and a 19 in math. Now, if you don't, let's say you make an 18 and 19 in reading and in English, and you make a 16 in math. That does not mean you can't take an English class or anything history related. It just means you can't take a math class. Okay, so each ACT score is subject separated. So you have to make the 18 and the 19 in English in order to take English and history. But if you want to take a math class, you have to make a 19 in math. Get it? I know, it's clear as mud, right? Okay, so also students that want to take a CTE class, that's like a technical class, you don't have to have the ACT requirement, but you do have to have the 3.0 GPA, okay? So like if you want to take welding, okay, well you don't have to have the GPA, the ACT requirement, but you do have to have a 3.0 GPA, all right? And how much does it cost? Well, the blessing is Ball State and the Tennessee State have like a dual program. The state gives you 2 free dual enrollment classes. And the third class, typically, you have to pay $300 because the state only pays for 2. And typically you will have to pay $500 for that 4th class. Well, Ball State has kicked in another grant that covers that $300 and that $500. So in this case, you get 4 free classes for free. You get 4 dual enrollment classes for free. So it is a great opportunity. So if you only do the 4 classes, when you graduate from high school, you will have 12 credit hours already towards college. And you didn't have to pay for them. Now 12 credit hours in college, we know can range from $2,000 or $3,000 to $8,000 and $10,000. So that is a huge benefit, and that's money sitting on the table, and it's free. It's available to everybody that meets the requirement. Okay. Now let's say that you're that junior, and you took you're a senior, you're going to be a senior, you took your history class, you used a grant there, you took in the second class, your second semester, you used a grant there, and you have 2 more classes left. If you want to take any more, a 5th class, you will have to pay out of pocket for that 5th class, or you can borrow from your HOPE scholarship. You have to reach the HOPE requirements, which I believe is a 21 on the ACT and or 21 and what? I'm sorry. 3.0. A 21 on the ACT or a 3.0. So if you decide to borrow from your HOPE, you can borrow up to $300 for a 5th class. I mean, we've had people, I was just having a conversation today with a young lady who has 35 dual enrollment hours before she graduated from high school. And that's pretty amazing. Now, she still, of course, she had to pay for after the 4th class, but $500 per class is pretty reasonable considering how much it is once you go to college, okay? But textbooks, now sometimes we get parents calling and in shock that you have to pay for textbooks. At any college, you have to pay for your books. So just like this is a real college class, which means that the teacher don't call your parent when you don't turn in your work, okay? The teacher don't, your parent don't email the teacher. Most of the time the parent email us, okay? And I really don't have any control over the teacher. Your syllabus is your contract. So if it says that this is due in 5 weeks, it's due in 5 weeks. And it's up to you to have a relationship with that instructor and talk to that instructor to be treated like a college student, okay? Something's different this year that we've included in our packets is a parent participation form. Not parent participation, this is it's a little bit more in depth than a participation form. And that is because we've had students, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it has not been I'm preaching to the choir because I really don't have any problems, typically have problems with students here. However, we do have situations where students do not take it serious and do not realize this is a for real college class. So if you don't turn in your work, it is up to that instructor to allow you to make it up. If they say no, then the answer is no. And we've had parents call our office and yell and get upset. There is absolutely nothing I can do. If it's on that syllabus, which is your contract, there is nothing we can do, okay? We've had a situation recently, which I'm a little iffy about this, but we had a situation where the student had, I think the grading scale was 80 was a B, okay? That's nothing. You got to maintain a 3.0 GPA in order to get your next grant, okay? So the student had you have to have a B, rather. So the student had a 79.6. In the teacher's syllabus, she said, I do not round up, okay? So that student lost their grant. Then the mother was upset. The mother was calling, yelling at our office. There was absolutely nothing we could do. If the teacher, and you can call the instructor and beg her for that 200th or 300th or whatever of a point. But if she says, no, it's in the syllabus, she don't round up, she don't round up. They treat you like college students, okay? If you take dual enrollment, you don't maintain a 3.0 GPA, which is a B, the second semester you will lose your grant, okay? Now, if you still want to take dual enrollment classes, you can, but you just won't have the grant. You have to pay for it, okay? Again, is there financial assistance? Yes, you fill out you go online. First of all, you go online and you apply to Vol State Community College. And then once you do that, you become an official student of Vol State, okay? You have all access like everybody else, any other student of Vol State, because you have a Vol State ID number. Then you also go online and you complete the dual enrollment grant application. And then once you fill that out, please, when you fill it out for both fall and spring semester, so you don't have to go back for the next semester. And then you speak with your guidance counselor, which I'm sure you probably already have. And then from there, we will register you in your classes. And then by next fall, you should know what class you're in, hopefully what book you're in, you have to have, and what book you have to pay for, okay? So again, there's several dual enrollment classes that you have the option to take. If you want to take, there are some students here that take math dual enrollment classes. There's some that take history. There's some that take the combo classes. Just know that the only classes that we have face-to-face is the English 1010, 1020, and then the psychology and the speech class that we have on campus. We have instructors to come here from Ball State to teach those classes here. Okay? Are there any questions for me? Oh, I'm not that good. Are there, no one have questions? Lynn, you have any questions?
I just have some things to add.
Okay.
The ACT, if you haven't taken the ACT yet, you do need to sign up before March 9th, or by March 9th, and that, I think, is for the April 10th, is the ACT test date. So you need to make sure that you take that ACT. Now, those of you who are juniors, you were scheduled to take the ACT on March 20th. That's fine, but if you don't score high enough to take dual enrollment, then it's too late to register for the April test. If you don't take the April test, it's too late to qualify if you take the gym test, because you have to be qualified for dual enrollment by July 1st usually. So you might want to go ahead and register to take the April test just in case. Okay, so that's just a caution.
And something else I want to add. If you do not meet the requirements for the ACT, you can challenge the test. And when I say that, let's say you make a 17 in the English portion. Well, you can challenge that score and then come on our campus and take a challenge test, okay? You just have to set it up through our office. That's an untimed test, and students oftentimes do better on that test, okay? And it's only relevant at Ball State, but it's still, so you still will have to take the ACT for somewhere else, but it will help you be able to take the dual enrollment classes.
And from a scheduling perspective, usually our English, speech, and psychology for the seniors is offered during first block, which is also when the Honors English 4 is offered. So if you don't do one, you can take the other without having to make a schedule change at the last minute if you change your mind about dual enrollment. GPAs, they'll be figured the same. The honors class counts the same GPA credit-wise as the dual enrollment English and speech for the first semester does. We also have a limit on the amount of students that can take the face-to-face class in English. I believe it's 22.
Well, they went up to 25.
We've gone up to 24 or 25 sometimes, but if there's more than that register for the class that indicate an interest, we will take the first people who are eligible for the class. So if I can only take 22 people, the first 22 who are eligible will get in the class. The remaining, if 25 signed up, the remaining 3 can take dual enrollment, but they'll have to probably do an online class. I've also had people do a night class. You do have to take English 1010 and 1020 if you want to count it for your senior English class, because every dual enrollment class is worth 3 credit hours, and that's equal to a half credit of high school at our school, is the way we do it. So you would have to take 1010 and 1020 to equal your entire senior English class. Our history class, back to the English. English is usually on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then the speech and then the psychology in the spring are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Usually you don't have class on Fridays. If your dual enrollment class doesn't meet, then you don't have to be here at the school. You get a free pass on Friday, you sign in for second block, okay? That's the benefits of taking those classes. History typically is online now. So our history class, if we have enough people for one class, we will put you in a computer lab with a teacher who will serve as the facilitator. They are not your instructor. They are just simply in there to have an adult supervise you in the class. Your instructor will be whoever your online instructor, was assigned through the dual enrollment class by Ball State. So again, you have to take History 2010 and History 2020 to earn your entire high school history credit. and that will be all year. You'll take 2010 in the fall, 2020 in the spring. Any of the other classes that you choose to take, totally up to you. You don't have to do the history, you don't have to do the English, the speech, and the psychology. But if you don't do what our combos are, then what I'll do for scheduling, if it's a core class, English, math, science, or social studies, that aligns with a course requirement for graduation for the state of Tennessee, then I will put it in your schedule. I'll build it in as a class for your schedule, and I'll just place you in a classroom somewhere for supervision, and you and your laptop or your Chromebook, or I can provide you with one of those if you don't have your own, and you can work on it during school. You can work on it at home if you want to. We don't have to put it in your schedule. But if it's not in your schedule and you're wanting to count it for high school credit, that doesn't work. That's called joint enrollment, okay? So the dual means you're getting high school credit and college credit. If you're taking a college class and you're not counting it for something in high school, it's called joint enrollment. The grant works the same. Joint enrollment's not counted in your GPA, and it's not in your schedule. So it's up to you if you want me to build it into your schedule or not. And as far as GPAs go, for class ranking, only the core required subjects are counted in your GPA. So if you choose to take Basket Weaving 101, it's not going to be counted in your GPA, okay? Sociology is not counted in your GPA, because I have some people taking sociology online, just as an independent class. And again, that's fine. That dual enrollment money is out there for everybody who qualifies for it. Here's another case that I have. I have students who test out of, with their ACT scores, they test out of freshman level English. And they test out of English 1010 and 1020. But you have to check with the universities that you're interested in. Tech, you can test out of both English 1010 and 1020 with certain ACT scores on your English. MTSU does, Western does, so just check at the universities that you're interested in. So if you have tested out of a class, personally, I wouldn't take the dual enrollment college English here during high school. I would take something else, because you're already going to get credit for that at the college you're going to go to probably. So what my students typically do, if that's the case, they will take Honors English 4, and they take sociology, art, music. They'll take classes that they know are required for their bachelor's or their associate's degree in college, and they know that will transfer from Vol State. They're taking advantage of their dual enrollment, and we're counting it as dual enrollment, college credit, and high school credit. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. So there's all different types of scenarios. We can get really creative with how we build it into your schedule. I don't want you to think that it has to be this one little box, okay? We're not boxed in. So I'm willing to work with you if there's something else that you would like to pursue. So that's why if I have your names before you leave, whenever I get packets back and I have a packet but I don't have a name there, or I have a name there and I don't have a packet, then I can, go find you and say, hey, you signed up and said at one time you were interested in dual enrollment, but I don't have a packet on you. And you're like, well, I wasn't sure. So we'll have several conversations, so you will get used to me. I will, be hounding you. Parents probably also, reminders through the summer if there's some students maybe that didn't score high enough on their April ACT, but they want a challenge. So throughout the summer, you do the program that she was talking about so that you can challenge those scores. And that's why we're saying you need to take the April, because you have to go through all that program if you need that remediation in order to be qualified, eligible for dual enrollment by July 1st. So there's a lot to this, but it is very beneficial for you to pursue this while you're in high school. It just gets you a better start. You're ahead of the game. Especially if you're wanting an advanced degree, because you can cut almost a year off and be a sophomore by the time you start. If that's not you're not interested in that, you don't want to put the time and the effort into it, that's fine, completely understandable. But it takes a special kind of student to pursue dual enrollment, especially the online variety. You have to be self-motivated. I mean, it's hard, if you're, education has come easy to you so far, and you don't really have to read a whole lot, you just listen to the lecture. That's not how online classes work. The history is definitely going to be online, and this year, as a matter of fact, our speech and our psychology was online because they couldn't find instructors to staff the class here, because we are off the beaten path a little bit, and it's hard to get people here at 8 o'clock in the morning coming from Nashville or Mount Juliet or, wherever they come from, to teach one class in Macon County and then head back to the real world, So at the last minute, we've had to go, oh, it's an online class. Well, we didn't expect that, but that's just the way it is. We don't really have any control over that. So just be ready to accept that responsibility. And again, you don't have to have your own laptop or computer or internet access. It is very helpful if you do, obviously, because you can work on it at home. But we do have Chromebooks and laptops and desktops that are available for your use. We have people that check them out all day long for dual enrollment. So a lot of my seniors, she mentioned math-wise, a lot of the seniors, honor students, because if you're here, I'm assuming you typically pursue honors courses, or if you don't have honors courses, you make really good grades. So if that's the case, a lot of you will be taking calculus next year, juniors, or sophomores. When you become seniors, you'll be taking calculus possibly. So if that's the case, and you want to take another dual enrollment class second semester, because calculus is almost always first semester, you can take a college math class the second semester and get that out of the way. So, and you can do this during the summer also. You can take dual enrollment classes through the summer.
But the grant, you can't use the grant in the summer.
Right. So just keep that in mind, that you get 4 classes for free,
Right.
and is it 2 each year?
The max is 2 each semester. So you could
2
take
each
4,
semester.
you could take 4 dual enrollment classes in 1 year, but you can't take more than 2 with the grant. I mean, you could pay for a third one.
But your grant's only going to cover it.
Right.
For example, those of you who are sophomores, let's say if you're the scenario where you're taking history, that's 1 and 2 classes that are free. Then you go to your senior year and you're going to take English and speech.
Right.
Those will be covered. That's your 4 total classes, correct? Okay, now you're going to have to take that English and the psychology that last semester. You're going to be responsible for that, for those 2 classes. One can come out, how much can you borrow out of your HOPE?
Just $300, yeah.
So you can borrow up to $300 out of your HOPE for that 5th class.
So, yeah. So that would be
5th and 6th
600 that
class.
you would be responsible for.
So that happens, because from this meeting, a lot of parents and students won't come back the next year, and they kind of forget all this, and then they get to the 2nd semester of senior year, and they've not been in a dual enrollment meeting to hear this other than the end of their sophomore year. So 2 years later, they kind of forgot, oh, wow, I've got to pay $700, or $600, and they're hit with this big bill, and they're, kind of stressing, understandably. So just know that if that's your plan going into it, you're looking at a chunk of money that last semester of your senior year, if you plan on taking 6 total classes.
And even if you decide to do that and you owe the $600, there are you have an installment. You can pay it on an installment plan. You just have to call the business office and set that plan up. Okay. And I wanted to say, one of the questions that's often asked is, will these class transfer? The best thing to do is, like she said, call the school that you have interest in and tell them that you're taking dual enrollment classes, and will they transfer? In most scenarios, actually I have never seen one where it didn't. I have seen one where, for example, I think Tennessee Tech Engineering Department wants you to take math classes at their school, okay? So even if you take a math dual enrollment, they will count it towards an elective. You won't get a math credit for it once you go to Tennessee Tech. That's the only scenario where there's an adjustment. If you take a music class, you can oftentimes use that as an elective when you go to college. So, but the best thing to do is to call the college you have interest in and to make sure that your class will transfer. Oh, and I want you to know, in your packet, you have just the same information that I just went over with you, as well as you have this green sheet is going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to apply, both for the grant as well as to Ball State, okay? And then you also have this parent acknowledgement sheet. And that's the one that is new, that's new to our packet, and that is because parents sometimes, or students sometimes, don't understand that you're treated like a college student. And so we want you to read over this to make sure you understand the seriousness of it, and because it could potentially affect your college GPA and different things like that. So just understand the seriousness of it. So when you, I've had situations where students go online and might have an issue getting online to see one of their online classes. And instead of contacting somebody or trying to find, they just let that time go by, and then they miss 2 or 3 assignments. And so then that becomes an issue, okay? Now you can withdraw from classes just like you do any other college class, but that's a different scenario. I bet she don't want me to talk about.
One of my college algebra kids had that problem at the beginning of this semester, could not get logged in, but when the professor he contacted him immediately, and he came back, he said, I'm going to postpone your dates,
Okay.
So he was working on it
Right,
well
okay.
when he reached out to him.
Yeah, and I'm going to shout out for Ms. Porter. Ms. Shannon Porter is over our sales math program, which is not dual enrollment, but it is an online format, an online math program for students, seniors, who have not scored a 19 on their ACT math. So it will get you out of remedial math when you do go to college, basically. So it's like that remedial class at the high school level. So because she's familiar with Ball State, their online format, and she has seniors, we usually put those students who take math 11:30. Usually, I think we may have had a couple take 15:30, which is statistics.
I've had a couple do pre-cal, and
We've got somebody doing math 1710 now for calculus, pre-calculus. So we usually try to place them with her throughout the day in her sales math classes so that you also have that support, and she is in contact with the instructors, and they usually allow her to proctor the exams so that you don't have to go to Ball State to take your midterms and your finals. So that's another resource. So like she said, stay in contact, contact your professors, stay on top of things, contact me. If you have an issue with anything, contact me first, and then usually I'm going to say, have you talked to the instructor? So actually, let me backtrack. Talk to the instructor first, the student to the instructor, because remember, the student is in the class. The student is the college, taking the college class. So student to the instructor, go that route first. And then you can come to me, let me know also. I'm not saying don't come, tell me, but let me know also. I'll contact Stacy, and, if necessary, we contact the department chair, and, there's a chain of command there. So we try to follow protocol. So you just need to be upfront with your instructors and open-minded to the online format in case at the last minute, a class that you thought was going to be face-to-face turns into an online class. So, does anybody have any questions?
I think you said that we see the dual enrollment email address. Were you going to give us Stacy's email?
I can give it to you.
Oh, is it?
They typically put it on there, but I think they put it on there. It's Stacy, STACY,
Okay.
.Walker, WALKER, at ballstate.edu.
Thank you.
And my phone number is 615-230-3739.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, before you leave, students or parents, if your student's not with you, if you don't mind, if you are a junior, I need this shows me that you're interested. If you don't mind coming up and putting your name, cell phone number, and your email, and it can be your school email, it doesn't matter. If you're a senior, your sign-up list is over there. One clipboard is for the English, speech, psychology, class, and the other one is if you're interested in taking any other type of, and that can be for juniors too. If you don't want to do the history, you want to do some other class, then please sign up on that clipboard. And some of you may sign up on both clipboards over there, so that's fine. All right, thank you for coming, and I appreciate it. Just call or email one of us if you have any questions.
And if you didn't get it in the packet, I have plenty of it, so you can look at it.